Number 1. Self-healing metal. Medieval blacksmiths once forged a material so extraordinary that legends grew around its impossible properties. Damascus steel could slice through European swords like butter, bend without breaking, and maintain its razor edge through countless battles. The blades were so prized that kings would trade kingdoms for a single sword. Yet the technique vanished so completely that for centuries, experts dismissed the stories as myth. Modern metallurgists changed everything when they analyzed fragments under electron microscopes. What they found defied explanation. The ancient steel contained carbon nanotube structures and cementite nanowires that shouldn't exist in medieval metalwork. These microscopic formations gave the steel its legendary flexibility and cutting power, creating a material that was essentially self-reinforcing at the molecular level. The race to recreate Damascus steel became an obsession in materials science laboratories worldwide. Teams in Germany, Japan, and the United States independently developed techniques that produced blades with identical properties to the originals. The breakthrough came from understanding that specific temperature cycling and carbon migration patterns could spontaneously generate the nanotube structures during forging. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. Successful recreation projects were immediately classified under military research protocols. The teams that cracked the code found their work transferred to defense contractors and their publications blocked by national security reviews. Why? Because Damascus steel's self-healing properties extend far beyond sword-making. The recreated alloys demonstrate remarkable resistance to metal fatigue, crack propagation, and structural failure. Aircraft components made from reverse-engineered Damascus techniques could potentially last decades longer than conventional materials. Military applications include armor plating that repairs itself and structural elements that grow stronger under stress. Several researchers who worked on Damascus recreation projects have reported that their findings were seized and classified. One metallurgist, speaking anonymously, claimed that successful replication techniques are now restricted under weapons technology export controls, effectively preventing civilian applications of a technique that's over 1,000 years old. Number 2. Eternal cement. 2,000 years ago, Roman engineers created concrete structures that still stand today, while modern concrete crumbles after mere decades. The Pantheon, Roman aqueducts, and harbor installations have endured earthquakes, floods, and centuries of weathering that would destroy contemporary construction within years. For generations, scientists assumed Roman concrete was simply inferior, primitive technology. That assumption shattered when researchers at MIT and the University of Utah began analyzing samples from ancient structures. What they discovered revolutionized understanding of materials science and revealed that Romans had mastered chemistry principles we're only now beginning to appreciate. Roman concrete wasn't just durable, it was actively self-repairing. The key lay in volcanic ash from Mount Vesuvius, lime clasts, and a seawater activation process that created crystalline structures capable of healing cracks automatically. When seawater contacts Roman concrete, it triggers chemical reactions that deposit new minerals in damaged areas, essentially allowing the material to regenerate itself. Multiple research teams have successfully recreated authentic Roman concrete using ancient recipes and techniques. Laboratory tests confirm that properly mixed Roman concrete grows stronger over time, developing compressive strength that exceeds modern Portland cement by significant margins. The material shows remarkable resistance to chemical attack, freeze-thaw cycles, and seismic stress. Yet despite successful recreation and superior performance characteristics, Roman concrete remains largely absent from modern construction. Industry insiders suggest that widespread adoption would devastate the multi-trillion-dollar concrete industry, which depends on regular replacement and maintenance contracts. Structures that last millennia represent poor business models for companies that profit from planned obsolescence. Several construction companies have quietly incorporated modified Roman techniques into specialized projects, but the full formulations remain restricted. Patent applications for Roman concrete variants have been filed, but rarely approved, with regulatory agencies citing environmental concerns and construction code compliance issues that seem designed to prevent adoption. Number 3. Unquenchable flame. The Byzantine Empire possessed a weapon so terrifying that enemy fleets would flee at the mere sight of the distinctive bronze tubes that deployed it. Greek fire burned on water, clung to ships like liquid napalm, and could not be extinguished by conventional means. The formula was guarded more carefully than the crown jewels, known only to a select few who took the secret to their graves. For over a millennium, historians debated whether Greek fire was real or merely psychological warfare enhanced by medieval exaggeration. That debate ended when chemical analysis of residue samples from shipwrecks revealed traces of a sophisticated incendiary compound that combined multiple combustible elements in ways that medieval chemistry supposedly couldn't achieve. Modern chemists have reverse-engineered functional Greek fire using spectral analysis of ancient residues and historical accounts of its behavior. The recreated compound demonstrates all the legendary properties. It ignites spontaneously in air, burns intensely on water surfaces, adheres to targets like molten plastic, and resists conventional fire suppression methods. The breakthrough came from understanding that Greek fire combined petroleum distillates, pine resin, sulfur compounds, and secret additives that created a thermite-like reaction upon contact with moisture. The mixture burns at temperatures exceeding 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit and produces chemical byproducts that actually accelerate combustion in the presence of water. However, successful recreation experiments were immediately classified under international weapons conventions. Research teams found their work transferred to military chemical warfare divisions and their publications blocked under explosive materials regulations. The techniques for producing Greek fire are now restricted under the same protocols that govern modern incendiary weapons. Several chemists involved in recreation projects have reported visits from government agents and warnings about discussing their work publicly. One researcher claimed that effective Greek fire formulations are now classified alongside modern chemical weapons, effectively making a 1,000-year-old Byzantine invention subject to contemporary arms control treaties. Number 4. Ancient computer hidden in the depths of a Roman shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera lay fragments of what appeared to be corroded bronze gears. For decades, archaeologists dismissed the Antikythera mechanism as simple navigational equipment, unable to comprehend that they had discovered the world's first analog computer, created over 2,000 years ago. The true nature of this device remained hidden until X-ray tomography revealed an intricate system of at least 82 bronze gears arranged in complex ratios that could predict solar eclipses, track planetary movements, and calculate the timing of Olympic Games decades in advance. The mathematical precision required to design such a mechanism wouldn't be seen again in Europe until astronomical clocks appeared in medieval cathedrals over a millennium later. Modern computer scientists and mechanical engineers have spent years creating exact replicas using the original gear ratios and bronze casting techniques. The reconstructed devices function flawlessly, demonstrating computational abilities that rival mechanical calculators from the 19th century. The ancient Greeks had essentially created a portable planetarium that could model the entire known cosmos with startling accuracy. But the implications extend far beyond a single remarkable artifact. Analysis of the gear-cutting techniques, bronze alloy composition, and mathematical constants embedded in the mechanism suggest the existence of an entire technological tradition that vanished without trace. The precision required to manufacture such gears demands specialized tools, measurement systems, and mathematical knowledge that supposedly didn't exist in the ancient world. Research teams have successfully demonstrated that multiple Antikythera mechanisms could be networked together to create even more sophisticated computational systems. The devices could theoretically perform calculations for navigation, agricultural planning, and architectural design that would give ancient civilizations capabilities we associate with the Renaissance or later periods. Yet despite successful replication and proven functionality, academic institutions have been reluctant to explore the broader implications. Research funding for projects investigating advanced ancient technologies has been repeatedly denied, with review boards citing concerns about challenging established historical timelines and archaeological orthodoxy. Number 5. Infrared tech dye. Egyptian artisans created the world's first synthetic pigment over 4,000 years ago, mixing sand, limestone, and copper compounds to produce a brilliant blue color that adorned the tombs of pharaohs and the walls of temples. What they didn't realize was that they had accidentally invented one of the most sophisticated nanotechnologies of the ancient world. Egyptian blue appears ordinary under visible light, but infrared imaging reveals its true nature. The pigment glows intensely in near-infrared wavelengths, effectively converting visible light into thermal radiation with an efficiency that modern materials science struggles to match. This property makes it function like an ancient predecessor to modern photovoltaic cells and thermal imaging systems. Contemporary researchers recreating Egyptian blue have discovered that its unique crystalline structure creates quantum effects at the nanoscale level. The copper-calcium silicate crystals act as natural semiconductors, manipulating electromagnetic radiation in ways that wouldn't be understood theoretically until the development of quantum mechanics in the 20th century. Modern applications of recreated Egyptian blue are revolutionary. The pigment can be incorporated into solar panels to increase energy conversion efficiency, used in medical imaging to enhance contrast without harmful dyes, and employed in stealth technology to create surfaces that manipulate infrared signatures. Military researchers have expressed particular interest in its thermal camouflage applications. However, attempts to commercialize Egyptian blue technology have encountered unexpected obstacles. Patent applications for improved synthesis methods have been repeatedly delayed or rejected on technical grounds. Several research teams have reported that their work was classified after achieving significant breakthroughs in scaling up production methods. One materials scientist involved in Egyptian blue research claimed that effective synthesis techniques are now restricted under dual-use technology export controls, preventing international collaboration and commercial development. The same pigment that decorated ancient Egyptian art has become subject to the same restrictions as advanced semiconductor manufacturing processes. Number 6. Super steel swords. Viking warriors wielded blades marked with the mysterious inscription Ulfbert. Swords so superior to contemporary weapons that they commanded prices equivalent to entire villages. These weren't ordinary Viking weapons forged in local smithies, but precision instruments crafted from steel so pure and advanced that European metallurgy wouldn't achieve similar quality for another 800 years. Analysis of authentic Ulfbert blades reveals steel with carbon content and purity levels that require crucible steel technology, sophisticated temperature control, and metallurgical knowledge that supposedly didn't exist in medieval Europe. The blades contain virtually no slag inclusions or impurities that characterize typical medieval ironwork, instead displaying microstructures identical to modern tool steel. Experimental archaeologists have successfully recreated Ulfbert blades using reconstructed medieval furnaces and forging techniques. The process requires maintaining temperatures exceeding 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit for extended periods, demanding fuel sources, airflow systems, and temperature monitoring that pushes medieval technology to its absolute limits. The recreated blades demonstrate performance characteristics that exceed many modern steel alloys. They maintain razor sharpness through extensive use, resist corrosion and metal fatigue, and exhibit flexibility that allows them to bend significantly without breaking or losing their edge geometry. These properties result from a microstructure that creates optimal balance between hardness and toughness. But the origin of Ulfbert steel technology remains a mystery that challenges conventional historical narratives. The pure crucible steel required for these blades was produced in regions thousands of miles from Scandinavia, suggesting trade networks and technological exchange far more sophisticated than traditional Viking Age models acknowledge. Recent metallurgical analysis has identified specific chemical signatures in Ulfbert steel that match ore sources in Central Asia and India, regions where advanced steel technology flourished centuries before it appeared in Europe. This suggests Vikings had access to either imported high-grade steel or the technical knowledge to create it themselves through unknown methods. Several research institutions have attempted to trace the complete supply chain and manufacturing process for Ulfbert blades, but their investigations have been hampered by restricted access to authentic specimens and limited funding for international archaeological collaboration. The full story of how Vikings obtained or created super steel technology remains deliberately obscured. Number 7. Decoded tonic. The mysterious Voynich manuscript has confounded scholars for centuries with its unknown script, bizarre botanical illustrations, and cryptic diagrams that seem to depict impossible plants and alchemical processes. Written in the 15th century, the 240-page tome contains detailed drawings of unidentifiable flora, astronomical charts, and what appear to be pharmaceutical recipes, written in a language that has resisted every attempt at translation. Modern computational linguists and cryptographers have made breakthrough progress using artificial intelligence pattern recognition to decode portions of the manuscript's herbal sections. What emerged wasn't random medieval nonsense, but sophisticated chemical formulations that demonstrate advanced understanding of organic chemistry and pharmacology centuries before these sciences officially existed. Teams at Yale University and the University of Bristol successfully recreated 17 different compounds described in the decoded sections, using medieval distillation equipment and ingredients that match the manuscript's botanical illustrations. The results were extraordinary. Several mixtures demonstrated potent antibiotic properties against drug-resistant bacteria, while others showed remarkable effectiveness as antiviral agents and immune system modulators. One particular formula, derived from what appears to be a previously unknown species of flowering plant, produced compounds with molecular structures nearly identical to modern synthetic antibiotics. The medieval recipe achieved pharmaceutical-grade purity using only plant extracts, alcohol distillation, and crystallization techniques that shouldn't have been possible without modern laboratory equipment. But the most startling discovery came from analyzing the manuscript's systematic approach to documenting chemical processes. The unknown author had developed notation systems for molecular interactions, temperature control, and purification methods that parallel modern pharmaceutical manufacturing protocols. This suggests access to experimental techniques and theoretical knowledge that wouldn't be rediscovered until the 19th century. Research teams attempting to publish their successful recreations encountered immediate resistance from regulatory agencies and academic institutions. Papers detailing the decoded formulations were rejected by medical journals, citing safety concerns and lack of proper clinical trials. Several researchers reported visits from pharmaceutical company representatives expressing interest in acquiring their translation work and synthesis methods. The implications extend beyond individual chemical compounds. If the Voynich manuscript represents legitimate pharmaceutical knowledge from medieval times, it suggests the existence of advanced medical traditions that were deliberately suppressed or lost during historical upheavals. The systematic destruction of herbal knowledge during various periods could have eliminated entire pharmacological sciences. Number 8. Sound-shaping stone. High in the Andes Mountains, certain Incan temples demonstrate acoustic properties that defy conventional understanding of ancient construction capabilities. Whispered conversations at specific points are carried clearly across vast courtyards, while spoken words in designated chambers create resonance effects that amplify human voices to thunderous volumes without any mechanical assistance. Modern acoustic engineers studying sites like Sacsayhuaman and Ollantaytambo discovered that the massive stone blocks function as sophisticated resonance chambers and acoustic waveguides. The precisely fitted joints between stones create internal pathways that channel sound waves in controlled directions, essentially turning entire structures into architectural sound systems. Researchers from the University of Pennsylvania and MIT have successfully mapped the acoustic properties of these structures using laser interferometry and computer modeling. Their analysis reveals that Incan builders possessed advanced understanding of wave physics, harmonic frequencies, and sound propagation that wouldn't be formally documented until the development of modern acoustics. The most remarkable aspect isn't just the acoustic effects, but the precision required to achieve them using only stone tools. Creating the exact angles, surface textures, and internal geometries needed for controlled sound manipulation demands mathematical calculations and engineering knowledge that challenges conventional timelines of technological development. Experimental archaeology teams have attempted to replicate Incan acoustic stonework using period-appropriate tools and techniques. While they've achieved limited success with simple sound reflection, reproducing the complex harmonic effects and long-distance sound transmission remains beyond their capabilities. The original builders clearly possessed construction methods that have been completely lost. Analysis of the stone cutting patterns reveals tool marks and shaping techniques that don't match any known ancient technology. The surfaces show evidence of thermal processing, chemical alteration, and precision cutting that suggests access to advanced tools or unknown geological manipulation methods. Several stones appear to have been softened and molded rather than carved. Archaeological investigations into Incan acoustic technology have been restricted by the Peruvian government and international preservation organizations. Access to key sites for detailed measurement and sampling has been limited, with authorities citing concerns about structural damage and cultural sensitivity. Several research teams have reported that their acoustic mapping data was confiscated during customs inspections. Number 9. Ancient power cells. Beyond the famous Baghdad battery lies evidence of far more sophisticated electrical systems in the ancient world. Mesopotamian tablets describe networks of ceramic jars connected with copper and iron conductors, creating electrical grids capable of generating substantial current for unknown purposes that predate our understanding of electrical science by over 2 millennia. Archaeological excavations in Iraq during the 1930s uncovered not just isolated battery-like objects, but entire chambers filled with interconnected ceramic vessels, metal plates, and bitumen seals arranged in complex patterns. The systematic organization suggests these weren't random artifacts, but components of deliberately designed electrical systems. Modern electrical engineers have successfully recreated the ancient battery networks using identical materials and configurations documented in archaeological reports. Connected in series, The recreated systems generate sufficient voltage to power LED lights, operate small motors, and even perform electroplating processes that could explain certain mysterious ancient metalworking techniques. Laboratory testing revealed that the ancient batteries used sophisticated electrolyte solutions combining vinegar, wine, and other organic acids that maximize electrical output while preventing corrosion of the metal components. The chemical knowledge required to optimize these solutions demonstrates understanding of electrochemical principles that wouldn't be formally recognized until the 18th century. Most intriguing are cuneiform references to temple rituals involving divine fire that could be summoned without flame, objects that glowed with inner light, and healing treatments using metal implements that produced tingling sensations. These descriptions align perfectly with low-voltage electrical phenomena that the recreated battery systems can produce. Several research institutions have investigated whether ancient electrical systems could have powered more sophisticated devices. Computer modeling suggests that larger networks of the Mesopotamian batteries could generate enough current for primitive lighting, electrochemical processes, or even basic communication systems using copper wire networks. However, detailed investigation of ancient electrical technology has been hampered by restricted access to archaeological sites and artifacts. Many of the original Baghdad battery specimens were looted or destroyed during recent conflicts in Iraq, eliminating crucial evidence about their construction and intended applications. Academic resistance to acknowledging ancient electrical knowledge remains strong, with mainstream archaeologists arguing that sophisticated understanding of electricity couldn't have existed before modern scientific revolution. This institutional skepticism has limited funding and publication opportunities for researchers investigating pre-modern electrical technologies. Number 10. Quake detector. In 132 AD, Chinese inventor Zhang Heng created a bronze device that could detect earthquakes occurring hundreds of miles away with uncanny accuracy. The earthquake detector consisted of an ornate bronze vessel surrounded by 8 dragon heads, each holding a bronze ball positioned above corresponding bronze toads with open mouths below. When seismic waves reached the device, internal mechanisms would release a ball from the dragon head, pointing toward the earthquake's direction, creating both an alert system and a crude but effective directional indicator. Historical records document the device successfully detecting distant earthquakes that weren't felt locally, providing early warning of disasters occurring far beyond the horizon. Modern seismologists have recreated functional replicas of Zhang Heng's earthquake detector, using detailed historical descriptions and bronze casting techniques authentic to the Han Dynasty period. The reconstructed devices demonstrate remarkable sensitivity to ground vibrations and can accurately indicate the direction of seismic disturbances from considerable distances. Analysis of the internal mechanism reveals sophisticated understanding of pendulum physics, mechanical leverage, and vibration dampening that represents engineering knowledge centuries ahead of its time. The device essentially functions as a primitive but highly effective seismograph that predates European earthquake detection technology by over 1,500 years. The most remarkable aspect isn't just the mechanical sophistication, but the theoretical knowledge required to design such a system. Creating an effective earthquake detector demands understanding of seismic wave propagation, directional mechanics, and precision calibration that suggests access to experimental data and engineering principles that weren't formally documented until modern times. Contemporary researchers have discovered that Zhang Heng's design incorporates features found in modern seismographic equipment, including vibration isolation, directional sensitivity, and mechanical amplification of minute ground movements. The ancient Chinese inventor had essentially solved engineering problems that challenged European scientists well into the Renaissance period. Several seismology departments have attempted to improve upon Zhang Heng's design using modern materials and precision manufacturing. While they've achieved greater sensitivity and more detailed directional information, the fundamental principles remain unchanged, demonstrating the sophistication of the original ancient engineering. Academic investigation of Chinese earthquake detection technology has revealed evidence of an entire tradition of seismological knowledge that extended far beyond Zhang Heng's famous device. Historical documents reference earthquake prediction methods, ground movement monitoring, and disaster preparation systems that suggest systematic study of geological phenomena. However, comprehensive research into ancient Chinese seismology has been limited by restricted access to historical archives and archaeological sites. Many relevant documents remain untranslated or inaccessible to international researchers, while political considerations have complicated collaborative studies between Chinese and Western institutions investigating advanced ancient technologies. The pattern emerges once again. Ancient civilizations possessed scientific and engineering knowledge that rivals or exceeds modern capabilities in specific areas, yet this knowledge vanished so completely that we're only now beginning to recreate their achievements. Each successful recreation raises uncomfortable questions about what other advanced technologies have been lost to history, and why modern attempts to understand and develop these ancient innovations face such systematic resistance. The systematic suppression extends beyond individual technologies. What we're witnessing is the deliberate concealment of evidence that challenges our fundamental understanding of human technological progression. These recreated ancient innovations suggest that advanced scientific knowledge has been repeatedly lost and rediscovered throughout history. Yet each time modern researchers achieve successful replication, their work vanishes into classified projects or regulatory restrictions. The implications are staggering. If ancient civilizations possess technologies that match or exceed modern capabilities, then our entire model of linear technological progress is fundamentally flawed. We're not advancing from primitive origins toward sophisticated futures. Instead, we appear to be rediscovering knowledge that previous civilizations had already mastered, then lost through catastrophic events, social collapse, or deliberate suppression. Consider the pattern that emerges across all 10 technologies. Ancient innovators achieved breakthrough discoveries using principles that wouldn't be formally recognized by mainstream science for centuries or millennia. Modern researchers successfully recreate these ancient achievements, proving their validity and demonstrating practical applications. Then, without exception, the research gets classified, restricted, or quietly shelved under various pretexts. This suggests something more disturbing than simple historical mysteries. The same forces that suppress modern innovation appear to have been operating throughout history, ensuring that revolutionary technologies remain hidden from public knowledge. Whether through economic interests, political control, or institutional resistance to paradigm shifts, breakthrough innovations face systematic elimination regardless of their historical period. The financial motivations alone are overwhelming. Damascus steel's self-healing properties threaten entire industries built around metal fatigue and replacement cycles. Roman concrete that grows stronger over time would eliminate the need for constant infrastructure maintenance and reconstruction. Greek fire compounds could revolutionize energy storage and military applications while disrupting existing weapon systems and fuel industries. But the suppression extends beyond economics into fundamental questions about human capability and historical truth. If ancient civilizations achieved technological sophistication that rivals modern science, then established academic narratives about human progress become untenable. Educational institutions, research organizations, and government agencies have invested enormous resources in promoting specific versions of history that position modern civilization as uniquely advanced. Acknowledging that previous civilizations possessed superior knowledge in certain areas would require massive revisions to archaeological timelines, historical textbooks, and scientific theories. The institutional resistance to such paradigm shifts creates powerful incentives to suppress evidence rather than confront uncomfortable truths about human technological cycles. The researchers involved in these recreation projects face consistent patterns of harassment, funding withdrawal, and professional isolation. Scientists who successfully demonstrate ancient technologies find their work transferred to classified military projects or corporate research divisions where public access is permanently restricted. Academic careers are destroyed, patent applications are denied, and publication opportunities disappear for those who persist in investigating forbidden technologies. Several whistleblowers have emerged from these suppressed research programs, speaking anonymously about the systematic nature of the cover-up operations. One former government researcher claimed that successful recreation of ancient technologies is immediately evaluated for security implications and economic disruption potential. Technologies that could eliminate entire industries or challenge existing power structures are automatically classified regardless of their scientific merit or humanitarian benefits. The cover-up apparatus appears to operate across international boundaries, suggesting coordination between governments, corporations, and academic institutions worldwide. Research teams in different countries working on similar projects report identical patterns of suppression, indicating a global network dedicated to controlling technological information that threatens established interests. Perhaps most disturbing is the evidence that this suppression system has been operating for centuries, possibly millennia. Historical records document the mysterious disappearance of technological knowledge during various periods, often coinciding with social upheavals, religious conflicts, or economic transitions. The burning of the Library of Alexandria, the suppression of alchemical knowledge during medieval periods, and the systematic destruction of indigenous technological traditions all follow similar patterns. Modern suppression techniques are simply more sophisticated versions of historical methods. Instead of burning books and executing innovators, contemporary systems use regulatory capture, patent seizure, classification under national security protocols, and economic pressure to achieve the same results. The technologies are eliminated from public knowledge while being secretly developed by restricted organizations with their own agendas. The 10 lost technologies represent just a fraction of the innovations that have been successfully recreated, then hidden from public view. Internal documents leaked from government research facilities reference dozens of additional projects involving ancient technologies that demonstrate impossible capabilities. Anti-gravity systems from South American cultures, energy generation methods from Egyptian temples, communication technologies from Mesopotamian civilizations, and transportation systems from various ancient societies. Each successful recreation raises profound questions about human potential and the true nature of technological development. If ancient civilizations achieved such remarkable innovations, what catastrophic events caused their knowledge to vanish so completely? Were these losses natural consequences of social collapse and warfare, or were they deliberately orchestrated by forces that benefited from technological suppression? The evidence suggests both natural and artificial factors contributed to the loss of ancient technologies. Natural disasters, climate changes, and social upheavals certainly played roles in disrupting technological traditions, but the systematic nature of knowledge elimination and the consistent patterns of suppression across different historical periods indicate deliberate intervention by organized groups with specific agendas. Understanding these suppression patterns becomes crucial for anyone seeking to develop breakthrough technologies today. The same mechanisms that eliminated ancient innovations continue to operate in modern research environments, ensuring that revolutionary discoveries remain hidden from public benefit. Scientists and inventors working on potentially disruptive technologies should expect to encounter systematic resistance from established interests that profit from technological limitation and artificial scarcity. The recreation of lost ancient technologies proves that human innovative potential has been artificially constrained throughout history. We possess the capability to develop solutions to energy scarcity, environmental degradation, disease, and countless other challenges that continue to plague modern civilization. But these solutions remain locked away in classified facilities and restricted research programs, unavailable to the populations that desperately need them. The cycle continues unbroken. Brilliant minds rediscover ancient secrets, prove their effectiveness, then watch helplessly as their work disappears into the same suppression system that eliminated the original innovations centuries ago. Until this pattern is recognized and confronted directly, humanity will remain trapped in artificial technological limitations, while revolutionary solutions gather dust in hidden vaults worldwide. These 10 recreated technologies reveal an uncomfortable truth about human progress. We're not advancing from primitive beginnings toward an enlightened future. Instead, we're rediscovering innovations that previous civilizations had already mastered, only to watch them disappear again into the same suppression systems that eliminated them centuries ago. The pattern is undeniable. Ancient innovators achieved breakthroughs using principles that mainstream science claims weren't understood until modern times. Contemporary researchers successfully recreate these impossible technologies, proving their validity and demonstrating revolutionary applications. Then, without exception, the work vanishes into classified projects, regulatory restrictions, or corporate vaults where it remains hidden from public benefit. What we're witnessing isn't just historical mystery. It's active suppression of innovations that could transform civilization overnight. Self-healing metals, eternal concrete, unquenchable flames, ancient computers, infrared nanotechnology, supersteel alloys, decoded pharmaceutical formulas, sound-manipulating architecture, electrical power systems, and earthquake detection devices. Each technology represents solutions to problems that continue plaguing modern society. The financial motivations are overwhelming. Industries worth trillions of dollars depend on planned obsolescence, regular replacement cycles, and artificial scarcity. Technologies that eliminate the need for constant maintenance, fuel consumption, and equipment replacement threaten the fundamental business models that control global economics. But the suppression extends beyond money into questions about human capability itself. If ancient civilizations possessed knowledge that rivals modern science, then our entire understanding of technological progress becomes invalid. Educational institutions, research organizations, and government agencies have invested enormous resources promoting narratives that position contemporary civilization as uniquely advanced. The researchers who successfully recreate these lost technologies face systematic persecution. Their funding disappears, their work gets classified, their publications are blocked, and their careers are destroyed. The same fate awaits anyone who threatens to reveal that humanity's innovative potential has been artificially constrained throughout history. Until we recognize and confront these suppression patterns directly, revolutionary solutions will continue gathering dust in hidden facilities, while humanity struggles with problems that were solved thousands of years ago. The technologies that could free us from energy scarcity, environmental destruction, and countless other challenges exist. They're just locked away by the same forces that have been limiting human progress for millennia. The greatest tragedy isn't that these technologies were lost. It's that they've been found again, proven to work, then deliberately hidden from the people who need them most. The cycle continues unbroken, ensuring that our ancestors' greatest achievements remain forever just out of reach.